And in this year's March Madness Confidential, for those 6 teams we just showed you, we're going to take you behind the scenes for an exclusive all-access look at how their tournament dreams unfold. All right, we're all filling out brackets, and there is a championship mold to keep in mind. So there are 8 teams that could fit that mold. And what does that mean? Exactly. So 24 of the past 25 national title winners have been top 21 in offensive efficiency and top 31 in defensive efficiency. So 8 teams check the box: Duke, Auburn, Houston, Florida, Tennessee, Wisconsin, Iowa State, and Gonzaga. Now, there hasn't been a West Coast champ since 1997. We see Gonzaga in the mix there. So can they be the ones to do it? Going with some trends, going against the others. And we want to welcome in our college basketball analyst this time of the year, Chip Patterson. So, Chip, we're going to talk about this mold here, the 8 teams that fit the mold, some that just missed it. And you agree with some of the teams that we just showed there on that full screen. So, in your opinion, who can actually win among those 8 teams that we just showed?
Yeah, let's make me and the mold be friends before we start to fight here. All right? Okay, so the teams are not going to be big surprises. They are going to be the 4 number 1 seeds and the 1.5 seed. And the 1.5 seed I'm talking about is Tennessee, the very best team on the 2 seed line, because all of these teams have shown us in their path to being one of the top teams in the NCAA tournament why they've got the ability to make it all the way to the San Antonio and cut down nets. For Tennessee, it is the fact that they have added that perimeter scoring option, whether it's Zakai Ziegler, whether it's Gainey, whether it's Chaz Lanier. It is not just a team that relies on its top defense, though they have given up nothing on the defensive side to be able to get that offense as well. The Florida Gators are just so deep and dynamic and versatile that you go and you look at Houston, which has been there before, looking to get there again. And then our top 2 teams, which really I don't think need much explanation. Auburn and Duke, for most of the college basketball season, showed you they were a cut above everyone else. Now, has Auburn stumbled a little bit, losing 3 out of 4? Yes. Has there been a team to lose 3 of their last 4 games going into the tournament to win it all? No. But I'm still a believer in you, Bruce Pearl, that I still think that the Auburn Tigers can string together 6 wins and win the national championship.
Okay, so we got to all the ones that you agree with, including all of the teams that are currently on the 1 line as the bracket stands right now. But what about teams that fit that mold that you disagree with?
Okay, and it's not just picking them off one by one here in the order, because we got very different reasons. For Iowa State, very, very concerned about this team. We know Keyshawn Gilbert's not going to be playing for them, and this was a different team when they did not have their full 8-man rotation healthy. A losing record, Jacqueline, when they have any one of their key players missing. For Gonzaga, this is a Gonzaga team that was so inconsistent. I know they ran off a lot of wins in a row in the West Coast Conference, but the style of play, are they going to be leaning on the defensive side? Are they going to be a high-scoring offensive team? Mark Few was changing around his starting lineups, trying to put in tweaks. I had one scout write that it's like Mark Few was throwing a dart every single game. This Gonzaga team does not have a consistent identity. And for Wisconsin, I think there have just been a few too many troubling losses along the way. Nothing to be ashamed of in the Big Ten tournament where they were outstanding, but the regular season finale loss to Penn State. A few more along the way that kind of made you go, huh, and doubt their ability to go all the way to win the national championship. So, Wisconsin, Gonzaga, Iowa State, I understand that on paper they do fit the mold, but in the Chipolytics, I just don't see him winning at all.
Yeah, we know the Chipolytics, it ultimately trumps all. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. College football, college basketball, hockey, if you will, which I like to disagree with you on hockey. Canes fan, Florida Panthers fan, but I digress. Chip, let's talk about teams that are on the outside looking in when it comes to that mold. Teams that just missed that list. When we're looking at this year with Bama and Illinois, Clemson, Arizona, Texas Tech, Michigan State, Maryland, that's a lot of folks picked to go far, potentially to the Final Four, Marquette, Louisville, Ole Miss. Who in here do you think are computer trickers, as you're saying, quote unquote, and who has a legit chance to win it all?
Yeah, computer trickers mean your numbers are good, but I can't trust you at all. And can't trust is all about what you're going to get when you've got like your Alabama, your Illinois, your Arizona, teams that I know are very, very good in terms of being able to score efficiently. But sometimes in the NCAA tournament, it's not about your efficiency numbers. It's about what's going to happen when you get hit in the chest. It's going to be about who can be able to handle the environment, the chaos that comes with March Madness. So some of those teams, especially those teams that have really, really good offensive numbers, but then have been very leaky defensively, I'm going to sell the stock on that. But I want to turn your attention to a couple teams that just missed the mold that I do still think can be able to make it all the way to San Antonio and compete for a national championship. And the first one is one we are going to be following with March Madness Confidential, and that is the Clemson Tigers. And some of it does have to do with the fact that they were right there in the Elite Eight 1 year ago. And they bring back so much of that. They are an old team. They rebound well, and they know exactly what they need to do in close games. Don't forget, they've got a win over #1 seed Duke from earlier this season, where they outlasted the Blue Devils in a crunch time scenario. Now, also Texas Tech, Michigan State, and you mentioned the Maryland Terps. I do think that Maryland, if it can sustain with just those 5 players without suffering injuries or getting caught in any kind of depth issue, then I think that Maryland's another team that I would be buying into, even if they just missed the cut to be able to fit the mold. I wouldn't be surprised if, Jacqueline, after a couple of wins, those efficiency numbers update. Oh, hello, Maryland. Welcome to the mold.
Yeah, and you know what? It's so many different stats and analytics that we're looking at, but we know that coaching and experience and having that championship pedigree certainly matters come March. Specifically in the South bracket, there's a lot of future Hall of Fame coaches that we have to talk about there, and in the West as well. But in the South specifically with Tom Izzo, right? Because a lot of brackets had Michigan State coming out of the South and beating Auburn to get there, getting to a Final Four, but then also not getting over the hump, losing there in the Final Four. And it's been, 25 years since Tom Izzo has won his last national championship. Chip, why potentially could this year be different? Why could this be the year that the Spartans do get over the hump?
Well, ultimately, you're going to be judged against who else is there, right? And there's going to be a challenge to be able to get there. But should Michigan State get to the Final Four, Michigan State will have a chance to win a national championship because they've got a depth of front court options that allow them to rebound at the kind of motor that Tom Izzo desires. Tom Izzo's favorite teams are the ones that are just relentless. They lock you down on defense. They play with nonstop intensity, with absolutely no let up. And because they've got so many bodies they can pull off the bench and trust down low, they are able to run just all gas, no brakes all the time. But we know that defense gets you close to championships, but cutting down nets requires shot making, and that's where Jace Richardson is obviously an emerging star. But how many big shots has Trey Holloman hit so far this season? How many big games has Jaden Akins been in throughout his Michigan State career? This is an experienced group that has the size, the athleticism, the intensity, and the emerging star in Jace Richardson to be able to accomplish the same things those 2000 Spartans did. They will encounter a lot of terrific roadblocks, including your Florida Gators, potentially in the national semifinals. But I do think that if they can get to San Antonio, they would have as much of a shot as anybody.
All right, Chip, we certainly appreciate it talking to us about all the teams that you think can fit the championship mold. I know we showed a lot of lists, but here's how it shakes out. Can win in that column. We have all the teams on the one line, plus Tennessee, Clemson, Texas Tech, Michigan State, who we just talked about, in Maryland. Will not win, according to Chip, Iowa State, Gonzaga, even though Gonzaga does fit that mold, Wisconsin, and then not even close, Bama, Illinois, and Arizona headlining that group. All right, it is bracket time, so make sure you get your bracket in now on the CBS Sports app. You can play in a pool with friends, join the men's and women's challenges for your chance to win a new SUV and trips to the 2026 Final Four. Download that CBS Sports app or visit cbssports.com/bracket. You can also scan that QR code on your screen.